Hello and welcome to another video. I wish I could say today has been a good day and I've been feeling much better than I was last week, but I can't say that because that would be a lie. Still having really bad PoTS symptoms. Tomorrow I'm going to email the nurse and I'm going to say I think I want to come off of Aberdeen and try Midodrine. The reason I've not done it today is because I had a phone appointment with my Lyme doctor this afternoon. So the morning was just spent writing a few questions that I'd forgotten. I made notes at the end of last week, but I wanted to just read through them, and obviously this afternoon was the appointment itself. It took so much energy. The hardest thing was actually the concentration. The appointment was good in that I understand now the test results I had done at the beginning of June. The main one really was the stool analysis test. The long and the short of it is I now have 2 bad bacteria. They call it like dysphotic bacteria, I think. I can't remember if that's the right word. So I have 2 bacteria in my gut basically that shouldn't be there. I don't know where they've come from. I haven't eaten anything weird or haven't travelled, which is what he asked me. He was like, I'm pretty sure you haven't travelled abroad, right? I was like, definitely not. I don't have any unbalanced bacteria, which is a really good thing, whereas before I had a lot of unbalanced bacteria but I didn't have any bad bacteria. It's kind of reversed now. And then there's one type of good bacteria that isn't there, that should be there. He was quite confused as to why it's not in my gut because I'm actually taking it as a probiotic. So he thinks that the bad bacteria is inhibiting the absorption of that. It's also messing up my antibody levels in my gut. They're not right. And a few other things I can't really remember right now because I'm too tired. He wants me to be tested for SIBO before we do anything about the bad bacteria or try and correct it. Because if we were to try and correct it and I had SIBO, it really wouldn't make any difference. So just going to hold off on doing anything until I've been tested for SIBO. And I can't be tested for SIBO until the weather cools down and my PoTS improves because I can't travel like this. I can't even stand up for like 30 seconds. I don't really think I've processed the appointment mentally. I'm still just so tired from it. Although I don't think I feel great because about half an hour ago I got a phone call from my GP surgery saying they had to rearrange my blood test appointment that I have for next week. I was like, okay, that's fine. When's the next appointment you have? The 30th of August. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because it will probably have cooled down by then and hopefully my PoTS will be doing better. But it just pushes everything back. It takes so long for me physically to organise and to do stuff. But add on top of that, the fact that the health service runs in such a convoluted and complex, weird way that it takes you so long to get an appointment. Add those 2 things together, it's just a recipe for disaster. I just can't get anything done. When I got off the phone to them, I actually shed a few tears. I'm just so tired of everything taking so long. I'm so impatient to start new treatments. 2018 was supposed to be the year that I did that, and it's August and it will be September before I get any answers, and that's basically the whole of 2018 gone, isn't it? I have emailed the cardiologist nurse explaining the situation and asking her advice. I've also emailed my therapist because I'm supposed to have a face-to-face appointment with her tomorrow afternoon. And let's be honest, the chances of that happening, they're not that great. The way I have been feeling, the way I'm feeling right now, it is cooler today. It's definitely cooler. So hopefully that means I won't feel as bad as I have been. But then that didn't work last week, did it? Or was it the week before? On the weekend when it was cooler and I just felt even worse. Cooler weather does not necessarily mean better PoTS symptoms for me at the moment. I wish it did. Well, I'm feeling much better mentally than I was this morning. I got a really quick reply from the cardiologist nurse, which was really reassuring, I guess. It had lots of really good advice in. The 2 main things, though, are the fact that I have the go-ahead to up my Modafinil dose. I wasn't necessarily considering doing that right now, but she thinks it might help with my symptoms at the moment. And the other main thing that she said in the email is that she's going to talk to my cardiologist about switching to Midodrine. I can never remember its name. Is it Midodrine or Midodrine? Midodrine, isn't it? Anyway, she's going to talk to him about that. I'd have to have an appointment at the clinic to talk to him about it in person before any prescriptions were given out, because obviously it's quite a major change, you know, it's not just a little tweak. But as she said in the email, that's going to be really, really tricky at the moment just because I'm so ill, I'm so symptomatic. All the clinic appointments are in the morning. That's firstly not a good thing for me, and the second not good thing about the clinic appointments is that they always overrun. I think the last time I was there for a couple of hours, and the actual appointment itself was like less than 5 minutes. It's kind of ridiculous. So I'm going to wait for her to email me back again to see what my cardiologist says about switching to midodrine, and I'm going to up my Modafinil dose, not tomorrow because I've got a therapy appointment, but the day after, and see what happens. Hopefully good things happen. I ended up having my therapy via Skype yesterday instead of in person, and as with the other 2 appointments that I cancelled last week, it was definitely the right decision. Today is the first day of my increased Modafinil dose. I'm actually doubling my dose, which sounds a bit crazy when I say that, because straight away doubling a dose of medication sounds like a big thing, and it is a big thing, but I've got to do it, so I've just got to be brave. I'm taking 1 dose in the morning and 1 dose at lunchtime. In the last half an hour, I've started to get a headache, which for me was the one side effect that really defined the first few weeks of me taking Modafinil. So bad that I almost considered quitting it because the pain was so extreme. Although I'm prepared this time and I know what to expect, I am still really not looking forward to those headaches. Hopefully they won't be as bad as last time because it's not an entirely new medication I'm starting. You know, my body's a bit used to it already. So hopefully that's the case. But as I said, I'm kind of expecting them. I got an email today to say I'm on the waiting list for an appointment with my cardiologist, which hopefully will come through in a couple of months. So I feel like I've got some sort of plan now as to what to do about this flare. At the end of last week and the beginning of this week, I'd really reached the point of I can't live like this anymore. I can't be this bad constantly. I feel like that might be stating the obvious, but it's true. I'm definitely feeling the increased Modafinil dose already. After lunch, I've kind of got this weird spurt of energy, but it's not real energy. I would describe it as like fake energy. I can tell that the medication I'm taking is just masking my fatigue. I would describe how I feel and have been feeling for the last few hours as almost manic. I feel like my brain's working really fast and my thoughts are really like going at 1,000 miles an hour, but I can still feel that underneath the surface of all that, I've got that really bad fatigue. That fake energy really does last a long time because I was going to say on the go, that's wild exaggeration. I've been doing stuff for about an hour and a half. I tackled a big pile of filing. On a normal day, that would have been completely exhausting and I would have had to have lay down in a dark room for the rest of the day. I'm not in a dark room, and I mean I am in bed, but I'm not lying down horizontal, and I feel like I could do other stuff. You know, I feel like I could keep going. I don't want to overdo it and then crash. I'm going to be sensible and I'm going to rest now, but I just wanted to document the kind of manicness that I'm feeling right now. As I've mentioned in the last few videos, I've not been doing so well mental health wise. Although I've mentioned it occasionally, I haven't actually really let on quite how bad it's been. There have been many things that have contributed to it. The reason that I haven't felt like I could share it on here, and the reason that I haven't been able to deal with it in the way that I would normally, is that a few weeks ago I got a comment on one of my older videos. I have had nasty comments in the past and they just haven't bothered me. This wasn't like that. It started off by saying that I was really negative in my videos. They then went on to say that if they'd found my videos when they were newly diagnosed, it would have made them feel terrible, it would have made everything so much harder, and it would have been a disaster. And that was really, really hard to read. I mean, the person commenting seemed to think that I was making these videos as a kind of instruction on how to get better. That's not what I'm doing at all. You know, I have no medical training, you shouldn't listen to me. I just got back from holiday when I received this comment, so I was already struggling because the holiday had been so hard, as I said, and this comment just stuck with me. And every time I would go to say something, I don't want to say negative, I want to say real, in the fact that I was feeling depressed and I was feeling sad, I felt like I couldn't say that because I had this comment kind of in the back of my mind that I don't want to be negative, I don't want to make anyone feel worse who's was watching. And it's just been snowballing and snowballing and snowballing over the last few weeks. I was talking to my therapist last Wednesday. We talked a lot about, is it that I need acceptance? Is it that I just need to set goals so I can feel like I've achieved something? What is it that is making me feel so depressed at the moment? But it wasn't until today that I had a real mental light bulb almost. Someone I follow on Instagram used the question feature to ask people to share a controversial opinion. Someone shared that they really hate the chronic illness warrior narrative, and the person who had asked for the controversial opinion agreed. She then went on to say that she doesn't feel like she will ever accept her situation. To her, this isn't a good life. I was like, yes, that's exactly how I feel. I've always wanted the very best out of myself and the very best out of my life, and I can't have that at the moment. Me trying to accept that, it's just not in my nature. Yes, it might mean that I have more peaks and troughs in my emotions, but that's okay. What I've been trying to do in the past few weeks is change my innate nature to try and be a happy and positive person that doesn't need to talk about negative stuff, that is okay with her situation and what her life might be if she doesn't get a whole lot better. I've been trying to be that person over the past few weeks. It's not me. It never will be. And I know that now. It feels really, really good to have worked that out. And honestly, I feel better already. I really, really do. Ugh, my phone cut out. I can't really remember where I was, but I think I was saying that I know I'm feeling better because I had a bit of a dip this afternoon physically because the humidity was higher. The past few weeks, that would have meant that my mental health would have dipped along with my physical health, but that didn't happen today. I coped with it much, much better. I really feel like I'm through the worst of this depressive episode. So hopefully the next video will be a little bit, I was going to say more positive, but I have no idea what next week's going to be like, so it might not. And that's okay, it doesn't matter. Today is Sunday, it's the end of another week and the end of another video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye!